Now, all of y'all had a chance to chime in on what it is, and versus who is a man and how manhood is determined, right? So we talked about the A, accepted authority. We talked about the essay. We talked about strength and vulnerability. We changed that strength and vulnerability because a man really should not be vulnerable. A man should be emotionally intelligent in all situations. We talked about that. We talked about the clarity of communication, right? And then we went through, once you have went to a therapy, once you have had some kind of counseling, then you get to the point where you know who you are because you sat down in front of yourself and you had a conversation with yourself. Now we went through those 5 steps where you become, once you have clarity of who you are, we went through the 5 steps, you know who you are. You have a better connection with God. We went through, you have a better connection with your spouse. We went through, you had a better relationship with your children, which is very important because we already talked about children. Yeah, we already we already talked about children, right? And then we already talked about once we do that children, and once we become a better dad, which is all we want to do when we have the freedom to be a better dad, we have the freedom to be actually seen as a good man, as a good father, as a good husband. We already talked about how good we feel, and from that good feeling now, mom and dad have a conversation with us. Our brother and sister be like, hey, what's going on? And then what happens? Work. We are better at work. And that's a phenomenal thing. And then we talked about man, work, being a human being and a man. And we also talked about actions. And that's how we got over here to this section. Actions. It's not words. Mm-hmm.